Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coffee with Craig show. We'll be talking about commercial real estate in Central and Eastern Europe. So good morning, good Wednesday morning, and welcome to the Coffee with Craig show. We're here in Cannes at the MIPIM fair, the biggest international real estate fair in Europe. And I'm here with Petar Orlic, who is International Business Development Director for NKO law firm, which is based in Serbia, and also LNP law firm based in next door, based in Croatia.
That's right, Craig. Yeah.
Petar, what can I say? Welcome back, because we did the same interview last year at MIPIM. Right. So maybe, first of all, tell us a little bit. We didn't have LNP on the list last time, so I see you've added another law firm to your list, but tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, for the people that might have missed last year's interview, and then we'll talk about the kind of business opportunities in the region.
Well, thanks for that warm welcome, Craig. It's a beautiful backing that we've got, a beautiful setting in Cannes again. At
I moved the rain.
Yeah, yes. You moved the rain. About me, 20 years experience working as a real estate partner in London, born and raised in the UK, you can tell by the accent. I came 1.5 years ago to Belgrade, relocated with my family, and work for NKO and LNP as their business development partner. I have had a relationship with both law firms over 15 years. And I used them as local law firms when I was doing the big international deals from London.
Right.
So I'm there as their international development partner, trying to get those deals in with a more of an international flavor.
So after 15 years, it's kind of like their lucky day. You actually showed up, and now you're with them all the time.
Well, post-Brexit, post-COVID, it was a perfect opportunity for me to move over to Belgrade and take advantage of the opportunities and the potential of both countries, Serbia and Croatia.
Right. Well, NKO law firm, I know a little bit because you won one of the awards as the best law firm of the region in SE region. Yeah. But I also know them because I've been to the offices and I've seen a lot of the deals you've done with real estate and the deals they've done over the years with some of the big players down there. You might mention them. I won't mention them just in case. But tell us a little bit about, and I know they're very focused on Serbia and probably Montenegro, right?
Yeah, Serbia and Montenegro. They've got an office in Belgrade, an office in Montenegro as well, in Podgorica. They're full service. NKO is a full service. Well, both NKO and LNP are very similar.
Right. Okay.
Both full service law firms, commercial law firms. Together, they've got approaching 30 lawyers.
Wow.
And we're working, we had an excellent 2023. I think together we worked on was around 23 deals in 2023, and in 22 we had an excellent year as well. Was around 17 deals that we worked on. M&A deals reported in publications such as C Legal Matters.
And M&A, well, with any M&A deals, there's usually a lot of real estate involved, right? Because of those kind of, especially with a lot of these private equity and venture capital guys, there's always real estate. They always want to move it, usually off the books, right?
Absolutely.
So I noticed there was a lot of real estate also with NKO, and really focusing one of the best law firm, I think, in Serbia as far as the local guys. They're the ones the go-to guys for everybody on the real estate. And also, so now you're doing a lot more in Croatia as well, with LNP.
Yes, doing a lot more in LNP, and the co-founders, Mati Lovrec and Pavo Novakmet. And Marty's got an excellent reputation in M&A, Pavo as well in M&A, restructuring, insolvency. And, Croatia's booming. Both countries are booming. Croatia's already in the EU. Serbia's online to become part of the EU.
Right.
But the buzz thing in Serbia at the minute is that it's going to get the Expo. Belgrade's getting the Expo in 2027. So very important. Osaka is 2025.
Right.
I was at the Osaka stand here at MIPIM yesterday talking about that with them. 2027, Belgrade. There's an initiative by the government, a leap into the future, it's called. So it's going to be lots and lots of investment.
Well, even with the Expo, interesting you mentioned that, because even with our magazine, Serbia Monthly, and with Europa Property, we're media partners of the Expo. So we're really also very interested in what's happening. And what I see is when you look at Belgrade, there's a lot of cranes, a lot of construction. So they are on it. The city's working on it. They're putting in the infrastructure.
Absolutely. Well, Belgrade Waterfront, how that's developed over the past 5 years.
Amazing place.
Some of our key clients, CTP, logistics, is booming in the region.
Right.
Another key client that we have, Penta Investments, and they're the Dr. Max pharmacy chain.
Right.
They've gone from having over maybe a 10-year span, going from 0 to 300 new pharmacies just in and around Serbia. So it's a great development, and there's lots more to come.
Right, right. I saw that, and also just the amount of energy that's there. You go there, and sometimes you go to some of these office buildings, it's empty, right, because of COVID or whatever reason. And you go to any office building in Serbia, they're all working full blast, everything's happening. And we were trying to get some office space there. Impossible. And they're like, go find a flat. Maybe you're lucky. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's lots more office development to come as well. Office is a concern because of COVID, post-COVID. But I think there's a drive for people, both in Serbia and Croatia, to come back to the office, to experience that teamwork and to work, especially in the legal field.
Right.
If you're a junior lawyer, there's no better way to train than to be with a partner who has 20 years experience.
Sure. So, we hear our helicopter ride in the background. I hear it coming to pick you up later. But what are the opportunities? Let's get really down to a lot of our clients that are watching this and viewers that are watching this. They're like, okay, what can we invest in? What are the sectors? What are the opportunities? And what is the returns?
I think it's interesting. I think I should mention here as well that I've also got another cap. I am the vice chairman of the British Serbian Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And through that role, I'm seeing, and I've been that for the past 4 years, and I've seen a change in investment appetite and outlook from UK investors, for example. So now you have, and we've worked on deals in the region, not only real estate, IT, pharma, mining, energy, the whole kind of compass of deals that entails real estate, obviously, that I have to mention because I'm at MIPIM.
Yeah, right. So when you're talking to general, okay, here we're at MIPIM, so of course it's real estate, but when like you mentioned mining, I always hear a lot about mining and some things going on that side, and now there's rare earths they're finding. There's kind of things like that, which
huge lithium deposits, probably the biggest lithium deposits in the whole of the world.
Right. So a lot of mining opportunities. Pharma, of course, you mentioned is big. So from your law firms, I know the real estate is big. You've got some big real estate clients, but where do you see more like the investors when they fly over from the UK and they're like, okay, we've got this money. We don't know if we're doing real estate or pharma or where should they be moving it?
Well, the three big sectors I would say that I've seen most interesting are infrastructure.
Okay.
The amount of highways that have been built, motorways, there's a new line, all for Expo as well. There's a new train line that's going to be built to the airport.
Right.
There's also infrastructure, the new train line that's been built to Novi Sad, that's been expanded to Subotica, that's going to Budapest as well.
I've been on the Novi Sad train, and it's like, wow, you're in like the year 3000 on this train. Great place.
So infrastructure, one. Number two, energy. Wherever I go, everyone's talking about energy. Everyone's talking about renewable energy. We've got a new minister, Minister Jedovic, who's fantastic. She'll probably continue to be the minister post-elections in Serbia. And and the Serbian government, with the help of the EBRD, had an auction of renewable and wind, I think it was wind, solar, and battery storage last year.
Right, battery storage. I remember
which was very, very successful. I think they sold over 1 gigawatt, and they're going to have another next year. And then IT. I was last week at an IT conference in Belgrade talking about IP and trademarks, etc. But there's been a huge influx into Serbia and Croatia because of incentives, because of the ease of the system to get things done, to open up companies. And generally because of this kind of e-processing that both countries have brought in, which makes establishing yourselves in both countries easier and doing business in both countries a lot easier as well.
Right. So cross-border
absolutely.
Thing. And I also see so much cross-border business, I mean, into the EU, not just from Croatia, but also into Hungary.
Absolutely.
Now direct flights on Air Serbia, so 45 minutes, you're there. Yeah,
absolutely. Hungary, when the train comes in, that'll be a 2-hour train journey.
Right.
I've seen lots of investment both ways, especially from the Czech Republic as well. There are a number of private equity funds that are investing in Croatia, that are investing in Serbia as well. And they're focusing on gaming, for example, but medtech, pharma, those kind of industries.
Yeah, and those investors, especially from Czech and from Hungary, I've seen do a lot of residential now in Belgrade or in Serbia as well. They're they're a lot of them are a little bit worried about Czech and that either getting permits or whatever. But it just seems easier to do business. You think, oh, you're in the EU, it should be easier, but it seems like the Serbians are working the EU compliant rules,
Yes,
but
correct.
it just seems easier to get things done there
Yeah,
in
yeah.
some cases.
I think they have the red carpet treatment, and they've made their systems, their applications for planning permission, much more efficient.
Right.
Back in the day, 15 years ago, when we used to do real estate deals, to get planning permission for a particular development used to take months, years
Yeah,
even.
I remember.
But now, on average, it takes about 5 to 6 months. So it's the improvements are vast.
It is light speed, 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, light speed, yes.
Well, that's great. And so what would be the message? We have a lot of investors watching this from all over Europe, maybe Western Europe, but also Central Europe. They're probably a little less. They don't see it as a risk, let's say, because it's Central Europe. But what things would you say are now the opportunities that investors are missing?
Yeah. Well, look at tourism in Croatia. You can't beat that.
Right.
Tourism, renewable energy. There has been over the past few years a lack of projects, but that's improving. Both governments are sitting down and thinking, okay, we need to introduce more projects. We need to have know-how,
right,
and that's being brought on as well. And then infrastructure as well. So I would say ready for Expo 2027 because there's a big surge. So I would say those kind of key sectors and the ones that I've mentioned before.
Right. And I noticed you keep bringing up infrastructure and IT, and I was also at a conference where they were talking, where one of I think it was Minister of Education or Transport, but he said, we're renewing and opening 12 universities in and around Belgrade, and they need student housing, and they need housing for these. So it's another issue, I think, of just residential for rent or student housing, which they even said, look, it doesn't exist, and we're going to have, I don't know, it was about 30 times more students than they had places for them to live. So another, I think, opportunity for development on the
I'm meeting this afternoon the SAV group from the UK who've expressed an interest in the region. It's all about numbers, Craig. So if there's a huge student population, which Belgrade and Zagreb both have. Belgrade, I know, has got more than 90,000 students
already
at the University of Belgrade. If the numbers work, so the development costs, if they're around 800 to 1,000 per square meter for the development costs, that number is key for all this to work. And obviously, how much rentals they'll get. So it's a big play, and both the Belgrade region has said that they're ready and willing and wanting to introduce more projects, and so has Zagreb as a city as well. So it'll be interesting over these next few years to see what happens there.
Right. So Croatia, it's tourism, hotels, bit of infrastructure, of course. A student, I'd love to be a student in Croatia.
Renewable energy as well.
And so for Serbia, it's almost everything.
It's almost everything.
Warehouse, retail,
logistics
is booming as well. So
CTP is another one of our key clients, and you've seen what they've done in the region in Serbia over the past few years.
It's I remember hearing some numbers like 1 million square meters under construction last year, and it's probably just growing from there. So.
No, absolutely. The potential is huge, especially for Serbia. Croatia are in the EU. They've introduced the euro now, so there's lots of stability there. So investment for these big private equity funds, it's safe. It's a safe place to invest. Serbia, the potential's huge.
Right.
So that's what the Serbs have really got to work on their PR as well.
So in Serbia, are the rents in euros or in dollars there for office rents?
What is it? In euros, generally.
In euros, yeah.
And they've been developing. I was talking. You talked about residential. Just to go back to that. We were talking about the prices there for residential Belgrade waterfront, ranging from 3,000 to 7,000 per square meter, which it's a huge price.
Yeah.
But then in Zagreb, you have what happens in Zagreb generally tends to flow through into Belgrade as well. So they're above that level at Zagreb. So I think the potential again for Belgrade, all those cranes that are going up, all that residential development is
pricing is going up. So even a good opportunity for people buying flats for investment. Great opportunity.
And it's playing catch up, Serbia. It's got a long way to catch up, and it's getting there. You've been to Belgrade a number of times. You know what it's like.
Absolutely. Well, Petar, it's very good to see you here at MIPIM. Thank you for taking your time and joining us once again. And hopefully we'll see you. We'll see you definitely on the Coffee with Craig show next year. Yes. But of course, in Belgrade. Thank you all for watching the Coffee with Craig show here at MIPIM. Well, of course, stay tuned for the news. We have a lot of interesting things. Of course, if you're coming into Belgrade, before you come to Belgrade, give Petar a call, drop him an email. All the contacts will be in the text of this post. And I would say great opportunity to go visit and just see some projects to work on.
Absolutely, absolutely. More than welcome. More than happy to welcome anybody who wants to come to the region, Belgrade and Zagreb.
Right. So always great to have a trusted local partner as well, like yourself, and also part of the chamber. Great. So good to see you. So thank you again for being part of. Thank you for watching the Coffee with a little bit of sun. Thank you for watching the Coffee with Craig show, and we will see you later with the news. Click here to subscribe to the Coffee with Craig show, and don't forget to share it with your friends.